Okay.
Good time of day.
Oh,
Hello.
Hey.
Martin, did the flu wave already hit France? Because around here,
Kind of.
everyone is sick. Like,
Okay, I think we are maybe like 3, 4 days behind you. Like I'm starting to see some people not coming to the office.
yeah, I read in the newspaper that down under, the flu wave usually hits first, and it was really bad this year. And then I looked around me and I was like, well, apparently it's already here. So,
So far, I'm good.
yeah.
Knocked me. Yeah. The weather actually has been quite good this week. Like it was terrible last week, and now we have a mini summer again, so everybody's going out and everything. That's pretty nice.
It's the perfect way to spread it.
Also,
Should we get started with intros as it looks like Lee and Benji are delayed? Cool.
You want to be the MC?
I guess I will MC
Because
this one.
normally it's either Lee or Benji.
Yeah. All right. So as we all agreed to, by attending this meeting, we all agree to the membership agreement, participation and contribution guidelines, which we agreed to when we made our pull request. As a reminder, this is live, this is recorded. So everything you say will be held for posterity. Yeah, let's get started with intros. So I guess I can start despite being at the bottom, and then we'll go with Uri. I'm Matt. I work at Meta. Yeah, and then Uri, if he is on the call, he is not yet. So we'll go down
To
to
Koi. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm also working at Meta on the same team as Matt. Jeanette?
Hi, I'm Jeanette. I'm also at Meta working on the same team as Kawhi and Matt.
hey, I'm Martin, working at Apollo with Benoit.
Hi, I'm Emily. I work at Amazon, but I'm just here as an independent.
Hey, Benoit, working at Apollo with Martin.
And then Benji is eating dinner, so we'll.
Yep, Rob here from First Dibs.
All right.
Pascal from Chili Cream. Pull request is open.
Yes, so we need to merge that one.
Yeah, it'll auto merge, I think. It should. Okay, so I see Rob added on. We should be good. I'll trust that Pascal's auto merged or somebody will resolve it. That's fine. Cool. So for note taking at the top of the agenda, there's a live notes link. It'd be very helpful if anybody would take these live notes, especially somebody who is not speaking too much, or if we can have two.
I can take notes. I just want to confirm the doc linked in the agenda is still the right one.
I'm pretty sure that we skipped the August notes.
And then the September one is the open community call. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, just that's why.
And if it's not, then somebody can merge it into the correct doc later. Where that somebody is unfortunately probably A, not me, and B, probably Benji. Cool. Let's do the agenda review. So we've got a few good ones. We went through the first few items. We will be reviewing the secondary meeting, going through the ready for review agenda items. Kawhi has a proposal for a GraphQL AI working group. Then we'll do Gateway Performance Benchmark repo. Jeanette has a PR for the spec about fragments. And then Emily wants to discuss how to get started contributing to GraphQL. Are there any other topics that we need to have? If so, make a PR edit to the end. But I think this should be good. Cool. So prior secondary meetings, well,
There's
by-
only one question.
Yeah.
Who attended that one?
Yeah, did anybody attend a meeting between?
Oh, okay. Benji
secondary
just
meeting-
said, come back to the secondary meeting later.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Sounds
so let's skip that one. And then the next topic should be mine, right?
well, we have the ready for review, but there's only
Oh,
one, is the
okay, yeah.
ensure use of composite term doesn't cause confusion in GraphQL.js. That is Benji. So this says ready for review. I'm not gonna take action on this like Benji usually does live, but feel people should probably wait. The PR was merged. Yeah, I'm gonna skip this and have Benji come back to it at the end. Yeah. So the next topic is yours, Kawhi.
Yeah, so Jeff and I talked to Jory, and we have already set a date for the first AI plus GraphQL working group meeting, which is going to be October. Let me just make sure I get the right. Yeah, so it's gonna be October 23rd. I think currently it may be conflicting with half of the HGP working group, but the time is going to be a little bit hard to find. Actually Jory has a blog post announcement about this working group that is coming out, I think on October 7th. It's going to be like live on the graphql.org. Oh, okay. Thank you, Martin. Yeah, please do join. I think we'll have a pretty packed agenda. We already sent out some of the invites to the speakers at the GraphQL Conf, who was focusing on the LLM or Gen AI in general related talks. We already sent a personal invite to ask them to attend this working group, but it's open to everyone. So if you have time, please join. Do we have a repo? That's Benji. So yeah, which he can come back, and then I guess he has a bunch of things he needs to answer. Yeah.
Okay, so let's add to the live notes AI working group. Do we have a repo? This is from it was Pascal. Yeah. Cool. So that's like a thing that we should follow up on. Cool. The next topic we have is the Gateway Performance Benchmark repo. That's Yuri and Frederick. Are either of them on this call right now? No. So I don't think.
If I may interrupt, Matt.
Cool. Yep.
Just a point of order. The AI working group is being proposed at this meeting. So let's all vote to approve that.
Oh, sorry.
Who thinks we shouldn't have an AI working group? All right, great. Yeah, okay. And here's one I made earlier. I will just change
And we have
this.
how many TSC members on this call? 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we have quorum? 3, 5, 6. I think we have quorum. So I think this just, yeah.
6, yes.
Yeah.
All right, I have to type in my password to approve this, apparently. Do it live. Yes, use my pass key. That's fine. Do that. And hooray, it's live. Right. We now have an AI working group, and we'll be announcing it via the blog, as Koei mentioned earlier. You can sign up for to join it in the way that you normally would. Link is in the chat. Awesome. And thanks for setting this up. Like, it's very much an important topic at the moment. So yes, very happy that this is happening.
Thanks for setting up the repo.
Right, so that's been voted on. Uri and Frederick will be later if they make it in. So the next topic is the pull request to update the description of fragments in the spec. Jeanette, do you want to talk to this?
Yeah, so basically right now the first couple of sentences in the spec describing fragments suggest a way to use fragments that I think is not ideal. So namely the example we give, we have an executable document and we're like, oh look, these two selections are the same, better pull them into a fragment, which is I think the wrong message we want to give people. So I think I'm trying to edit the spec language to say actually fragments are for evolving data needs, not for you look at your executable document and you see what's common and pull it out like in a one pass sort of thing. So yeah, that's what the changes are trying to get at. And Matt told me potentially for this meeting, if not everyone has read the PR, maybe what we could get away with is voting on what level of RFC this PR is at. But yeah, I will leave it up to the TSC members to tell me what the next steps are.
In my opinion, this is not an RFC. It doesn't need to be an RFC. This is editorial. It doesn't change anything about the way that the spec works. It just changes how we describe what it's meant to be used for. So I don't think it needs to go through the RFC process. If we were all in agreement, then we could just merge it today, no problem at all. But I will weigh an opinion. I think that the wording at the moment, and I know that there's been some work on this, which definitely has improved it since the first version, but I think that the wording at the moment is still a little bit confusing because we talk about the friend profile logic. We also talk about the friend profile fragment. I saw that there was an earlier proposal to put fragment on the name of the fragment, but I don't think that really necessarily solves it quite right. So I think I don't know what the final wording should be, but I think that there could be some improvement there. I was wondering whether we could even just call it profile rendering logic as prose rather than actually using code backticks. And that way it'd be more sort of generic. That's my thought. But the actual desire for the change, as you all know, I very much support. So yes, I'm excited to get something like this into the spec.
Yeah, it's a lot of sense. Or yeah, I guess it is tricky because the spec is not client logic or there's no concept of the client logic. So I think it totally makes sense to take out friend profile fake function and just use words to describe what it is. So yeah, happy to make that change.
One quick question. I just did a quick search on our spec. I think the super important keyword in your PR is the modular keyword. And that's the first time it ever appeared. I'm wondering if we want to just add one more sentence, just being super crisp of what we mean there, given this word has not appeared before and it's pretty important concept.
I think that's probably a good idea, but I purposely didn't add it because it sounded hard. But if someone wants to help me define a
definition of modular,
helpful way to describe modularity, because I think I mentioned composing, or yeah. I think I was also curious if modularity was too vague of a word to put in there. Yeah, do other people have thoughts?
I actually don't think we should necessarily say modular. It's fragments define the data needs for one purpose, for one reusable purpose. Which is
I guess when I asked ChatGPT how it would describe it, it was that sounds like modularity. And I was like, well, okay. Or yeah, I guess like, or would people prefer instead of using one word to like spell out more, or I guess, yeah, like I guess purpose almost feels like more vague to me. Like, so I don't know. It was tricky.
It could be selection sets that will be combined in a
Yeah, because we
larger.
already have the sentence primary unit of composition in GraphQL, so I feel like that is good.
Oh, yeah, that.
We could just say definition of selection sets. That makes it easier to add and remove selections as needed, but maybe that's also, or I don't know.
Or they just allow splitting selections, or like, I mean, they allow composing selection sets into like data. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if anyone has suggestions, please like comment on the PR. But yeah, I do think I was struggling to like balance something concise. Oh, sure. Yeah, I guess, do people have thoughts if we want to merge and then iterate? I do think so. I will happily make the change Benji mentioned because I think that's probably not controversial. And then maybe we could merge and iterate. It sounds like though maybe we follow up offline. So like I'll make the changes maybe Benji suggested, and then we can follow up on the PR. Is that usually how things work?
Yeah, I think let's iterate it on the PR. I don't
Yeah.
think we need to merge this urgently. It's not urgent, but it is important. Also, I'm not 100% sure whether we should be merging things right now because we're in that kind of spec freeze period. I don't know whether that was just based on a commit or whether we are effectively in a freeze at the moment. I'd need to ask Lee about that. Probably it's fine, but I don't know.
All right, sounds good. Let me follow up with the getting rid of the like fake function name, and then maybe I'll put in some options for what we could do to like with that word modularity, and we can follow up on the PR.
And just for clarity, I think, yeah, once we get quorum of TSC members approving the PR, then we can merge it. Because it is editorial, as Benji said. And it would be fine if this was like a continual, as Martin is proposing, if this was like merge and keep iterating. But there may be TSC members that are like, I think we can get it right the first time. So that would be, so we should aim though to be able to merge this by next month, in my opinion. And ping people if there are specific people who have made suggestions that are like not responsive. I would get rid of the client bit because I don't know that we've actually described that it's for client, but components and logic to describe their specific data requirements locally. Fragments can then be composed together. Yes, that. Yeah, I actually really like that. Benji. Oh, okay. You're right. We have described client. Okay. Okay, you win. Okay, do we want to move on and then either come back or because we have one other topic. I want to make sure we get to Emily while they are still on the call. Oh, Lee has joined. Perfect. And then we can go back through the pieces that we might need Lee to pop in on.
I think it's fine to move on, Matt. I think everyone's in agreement that this is something we want, but the specific wording is something we're going to craft probably after the call.
Perfect.
I like the framing of if we get to a point between meetings where everybody agrees that it's in the right spot to merge, we merge it. And if not, then we've got between now and the next meeting to get it right.
All right, Emily, you have starting to contribute to GraphQL for newcomers topic.
Yeah, so I want to get involved, but I don't know like necessarily where the right place is to start. Like is it like coding, looking at PRs or like issues, I guess, and creating a PR, or is it documentation? Like where are we like needing help right now?
That is a great question. I guess it comes down to where do you want to contribute? There is documentation is always something that is really critical to get right. And it's something where it's always slightly evolving the best practices as well, based on what the community does. There are many projects code-wise that may warrant some advancement. So for example, this is a reasonably big project, but in GraphQL, we have a project called GraphQL Explorer, which is a plugin to GraphQL that was written by some folks, was since acquired by a company that's no longer really maintaining it. And it's no longer really compatible with the latest React ecosystem or the latest GraphQL. It kind of works, but it's not great, and it's got a number of issues. But we don't have the rights to update it and to publish new versions. We did have a community member do a design for what a new form of that would look like. So there's things like that, which would be incredibly valuable to have. There's also smaller things, trying to help get any of our various RFCs over the line. New things there's also things like the composite schemas working group, which are working on things there. So
By the way,
there are so many. Go on, Michael.
Benji, what you said, just to there are several RFCs that need champions, which are good RFCs, but nobody is pushing them forward, and that's always where you can get involved. And Lee just posted also a link to the RFC Explorer website from Benji, where you can get an overview of what is actually in need of a champion.
Yeah, we need to
Sorry.
we need to pull that RFCs. Benji, we need to graduate your tool from your own pet project to an official project because it's actually pretty good. Because there's this like leap where, how do people discover your tool when they start from just like GraphQL.org or the GitHub or something like that. But anyway, Benji, everything you said so far is correct, but also like most of the work that's happening in these working groups are in fact pushing these larger changes through. And they are a lot of work, and they're on everything from like actually reasoning through the problem itself, what's the right solution space. Then there's like more technical things to do along there, like prototype it out in GraphQL.js, start to draft spec text changes to see what works or does not. And if you popped open this page and look at the RFC tracker, you'll notice that the lower the stage, the more things there are. Stage 0 is all of the basically ideas. Like these are things that are interesting, but like need to be fleshed out to get to stage 1, which is where it's we've reasonably agreed that this is something worth spending time on. But even a lot of the things in stage 1 don't necessarily have proactive champions yet.
Yeah, and I would go through them and pick something that you can relate to. And they're really awesome things in there. Like, for instance, there's an exploration of the flat chain syntax, which is an interesting proposal, but nobody is picking it up as a champion. Things like that, I would just go through.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I will go through these links and look through them and see if there's anything interesting. Thank you.
I will
Yeah.
also say there's one area that I think is like for people who do contribute a lot, one common pattern has been like somebody reads the spec, and as they read it, they're like, wait, I don't understand this. Works through their understanding, and then is like, that should be documented somewhere. So like even changes like that, like if you are trying to understand something, you're working through, you're reading code, you're whatever, reading code, reading spec text, reading whatever, and it's like, this feels off. That is a great time to make a PR and bring it up for discussion and like add to the contribution.
Yeah, if you scan through the last year or two's worth of changes in the spec itself, probably 4 out of 5 were editorial changes, half of which were just trying to state the same thing more clearly, and the other half of which found actual gaps. Like we are all probably doing it the right way in the implementations, but the spec doesn't actually say very clearly what's supposed to happen, and we should do that. Those are sort of like less exciting from the sense of unlocking a new thing, but are still really important because they almost always uncover some like esoteric bug that gets fixed across the entire ecosystem. Those are good.
It's also a
There's
good,
also just on Discord. There's a work group channel for people that are joining these work groups, and this is also a way where you can get quick feedback if you start digging into something. You can ping us. The whole TSC is in there, so you can ping any of us for help.
Thank you.
Sorry for joining late. By the way, did I miss anything important at the top?
well, we got through the entire agenda. So do we want to go through it a second time?
Well,
Depends on how fun it was.
sorry, we actually we did skip a couple from Benji, for example, the secondary meeting updates and then the
Oh,
Let's
did we
redo
have a secondary?
yeah, there's one agenda for at matches.
Oh yeah, that's worth digging into. I mean, Mark's not here, so, but it's worth flagging it. Benji, were you part of that conversation? Do you have context?
I was, yes. It was a secondary meeting with just me and Mark, and we used the full hour and a half. And I'm trying to remember what we talked about and try and boil it down. But yeah, essentially it was all focused on this this matches directive. To try and describe this problem, if you have a place that's polymorphic, you're using an abstract type like an interface or a union, and you're querying fields on it based on, let's say you're doing server-driven UI. So you might have a number of different widgets that you support, like a photos widget, a post widget, a music widget, whatever, and you know that you support this set of things. Really, those are the only set of things that you want. And you might want to say, for example, show me the first 5 widgets to show from this big list. If later the backend adds support for new types of widget that you don't support, you're not querying anything on those. And so you're ending up with empty objects coming through. And that's not very useful. But you've also said, give me the first 5. So it might be that you're actually now only rendering 3 widgets or 0 widgets because you don't know how to render any of them. It's not a great thing. So there's been a few ways that people have solved this in the past. And the main way is to pass an argument to the field and say, hey, give me the widgets, but only give me these like 3 or 5 types of widgets that I specifically support. And again, there's a number of different ways of doing that. Some people do it with strings that have like the type name. Some use an enum that again is probably the type name. And I believe that Relay even has I think it's got something to do with 3D system that essentially can compile that into the query. So based on the fragments that you query in a particular area, it will then automatically add this argument for you. But that's done as a client optimization. And essentially What Mark is suggesting is that we need something spec-wise so that everyone can leverage this pattern, whether they use Relay or not. I definitely agree that this is a problem. I've had to solve this in my own applications before. However, it turns out this is quite a challenging issue. And one of the reasons for that is that the place at which you might filter something and the place at which you query it may not necessarily be the same place. Take, for example, connections. For a connection, you would typically have the filter at the root level connection field, but you would then do the query on the nodes or on the edges. So in those cases, you need to know to pass that argument up a couple of levels, not directly to the next layer. We also, in that situation where we've got a nested structure, you can also end up with multiple things that reference that type, or even aliases. So like even just in cursor pagination, you might query the edges and the node through that, and you might separately query the nodes. And now what if those two selection sets don't match up? And of course, we've always got the option of aliasing as well, which makes this even broader. So there's a number of issues here. It would be ideal if we had a syntax that supports this, except how would that syntax know to apply 2 levels up rather than just directly to the parent? So I think what we've done essentially is we've identified that there's a problem. We've proposed a potential way of solving this with a directive. The directive can accept like an argument, but there's still a lot of questions around this, and this was broadly what the discussion was. So if that's something interesting to you, get involved on that particular RFC, which has been merged to the RFCs folder.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I agree. This is an interesting problem. I'll have to read more on this particular proposal and how to solve it, but it's a cool problem. I also missed the discussion of the GraphQL AI working group. QA, did you want to do a quick recap?
We did a quick vote. I guess Benji actually course corrected it. I didn't vote. I just implied everyone agree. But yeah, we did that vote. The first one, the first meeting is scheduled for October 23rd. And we already, I think Jory has a blog post. Benji, you worked with Jory on this. It's coming out October 7th, which will be published on graphql.org. We also have personally sent invites to the speakers in the GraphQL Conf like last month who was talking about LLM related conversations, and then we send them like personal invites via LinkedIn telling them about this. I think most people said they are coming. So yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. All right, excited for that. Cool. Is that our whole agenda? Anything else anyone wants to talk about? All right. We'll make it a short one.
Just
Sorry again for
as
joining
a
late,
note,
but sorry, go ahead, Matt.
just as a note, we did not discuss the Gateway Performance Benchmark repo. That item, the champions aren't on the call, so we haven't been able to discuss it, just as a note.
You mean the stuff
Well,
from the guild, or?
Uri and Frederick
Yeah.
were once
Okay.
champion. So.
Yeah, Uri, like he couldn't make it. So.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully
and
we'll have a
also
chance to
because
talk about it
we,
next.
sorry, Lee, because we closed the ready for review action items on this call as well, I can confirm that the composite term was addressed, as was mentioned earlier. So I'm just going to go ahead and close that. That is
Great.
now done.
Awesome. All right, folks, we'll wrap up a bit early. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.
See you guys.
See you.
Thanks all. Bye.
Bye.